I had everything most people dream about: a corner apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline, a career in marketing that actually paid well, and Daniel, my husband of 2 years who somehow loved me despite all my flaws. Our wedding had been perfect. White roses everywhere, string lights wrapped around the venue, my sister Sophie crying during the vows. Daniel's mother Linda had pulled me into this crushing hug afterward, whispering, "Welcome to our family, sweetheart." Everyone kept saying we were the ideal couple. "You too are relationship goals," Jennifer would say, raising her wine glass during our Friday night dinners. I'd smile and nod, but something inside me felt hollow. Daniel came home every evening at exactly 6 o'clock. He'd walk through the door, kiss my forehead and ask, "How was your day?" Every single night he remembered my coffee order: oat milk latte, extra shot, no sugar. He knew I liked my eggs scrambled soft, that I watched rom-coms when I was stressed, that I needed the bedroom cold to sleep. He was predictable, safe, boring. "You're insane, Maya," Jennifer told me one Friday when I complained. "Most women would kill for a man like Daniel." "I know," I said, swirling my wine. Don't you ever want something more exciting?" "Exciting, girl, exciting is what breaks your heart. Stable is what builds a life." She was right. I knew she was right. But I couldn't shake this restless feeling in my chest, this hunger for something dangerous, something that made my heart race instead of just beat steadily. That's when my phone buzzed. Ryan Torres. Just seeing his name on my screen made my stomach flip. I stared at Ryan's message for 20 minutes. "Saw your wedding photos online. You look beautiful. Can we talk?" My hands were shaking. "Ryan." After 3 years of silence, Ryan was texting me. We'd dated for 3 chaotic years before Daniel. Ryan was a freelance photographer who traveled constantly, forgot my birthday twice, and broke up with me 4 times before I finally ended things. Or so I thought. I should have deleted the message, should have told Daniel immediately. Instead, I typed back, "Thanks, I'm happy now." His response came within seconds. "Are you really?" Because the Meyer I knew would never settle for boring. That one sentence ignited something I'd tried so hard to bury. We started texting, just catching up at first, his photography assignments in Thailand, my new marketing campaigns. Nothing inappropriate, but then the messages got longer, more personal. "I made a mistake leaving you," he wrote one night. "Biggest regret of my life." I told myself it was harmless, just old friends reconnecting, but every time Daniel came home, guilt twisted in my stomach. Every time my phone buzzed, I hoped it was Ryan, not my husband. "You're acting weird lately," Jennifer said during lunch one Tuesday. "Everything okay with Daniel? Everything's perfect." I lied, forcing a smile. "You sure? You keep checking your phone." "Just work stuff." She studied my face for a long moment, then shrugged. "Okay, but you know you can talk to me about anything, right?" "I know," but I couldn't tell her. I couldn't admit that I was falling back into Ryan's orbit, that his texts made me feel more alive than my entire marriage. 3 weeks after that first text, I agreed to meet Ryan for coffee. "I have a work meeting," I told Daniel that morning. The lie slipped out so easily it scared me. "On a Saturday?" he asked, looking up from his breakfast. "Yeah, last-minute client thing. I'll be back by noon." "Okay." He kissed my cheek. "Good luck, babe." The guilt nearly choked me. I met Ryan at a small cafe across town where nobody knew me. He was standing outside when I arrived, wearing that same leather jacket he'd worn 100 times before. "Maya," he pulled me into a hug that lasted too long. "Hi, Ryan." We sat in the back corner. He ordered black coffee. I ordered tea I didn't drink. "You look amazing," he said, his eyes searching my face. "Thanks, you look the same," he laughed. "Still a mess, you mean?" I didn't say that. We talked for 2 hours. He told me about his photography assignments, the beaches in Thailand, the mountains in Nepal, the streets of Morocco. "Your life sounds like an adventure." I said, "It is, but it's lonely." He leaned forward. "Don't you miss it? The spontaneity, the excitement." "Miss what?" "Us." My throat tightened. "I'm married, Ryan." "I know." He reached across the table, his fingers brushing mine. "But are you happy?" That question haunted me for days. Was I happy? Daniel gave me stability, respect, love. But Ryan gave me butterflies, danger, passion. We met again 2 weeks later, then again the following Thursday. The fourth time, after we'd been talking in his car for hours, he leaned over and kissed me. I should have pulled away, should have slapped him and driven home and confessed everything to Daniel. Instead, I kissed him back. That night, lying next to Daniel in our bed while he slept peacefully, I cried silently. I'd crossed a line I couldn't uncross. The affair had begun. My phone rang the next morning. "Sophie, hey, Mom says you've been distant lately. You okay?" "I'm fine." I lied. "Just busy with work." "You sure? You sound weird." "I'm sure, Soph, everything's fine." Another lie. The lies were piling up, each one heavier than the last. For 3 months I lived 2 completely different lives. Wife Maya cooked dinner with Daniel, smiled through his office parties, and made small talk with his mother during Sunday brunches. Secret Maya met Ryan in hotel rooms, sent him risky texts during meetings, and felt alive in ways I'd forgotten were possible. The guilt was constant, but the thrill was stronger. I started picking fights with Daniel over nothing. "Why can't we just book a last-minute trip somewhere?" I snapped one evening. He looked confused. "We can, Maya. Just tell me when you want to go." "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" I couldn't answer. I wanted him to be different. I wanted him to fail so I could justify what I was doing. Jennifer confronted me during our monthly dinner. "You're having an affair, aren't you?" My wine glass froze halfway to my lips. "What? Don't lie to me." She leaned forward, her voice low and angry. "Maya, are you seriously throwing away your marriage?" "You don't understand." "Then explain it to me. What could possibly be worth this?" I couldn't meet her eyes. "Ryan makes me feel alive." "Ryan makes you feel chaos. That's not the same thing as alive." She slammed her wine glass down. "Daniel is perfect for you. He's kind, stable, loyal. He's boring." "No, Maya, he's grown up, and apparently you're not." We sat in angry silence for a long moment. "Are you going to tell him?" I finally asked. "I should, but I won't. That's your responsibility." She grabbed her purse and stood up. "But I can't watch you self-destruct anymore. Figure out what you want before you lose everything." At Daniel's best friend Marcus's birthday party the next weekend, I felt his eyes on me constantly, cold, suspicious. Linda pulled me aside in the kitchen. "You make my son so happy," she said, squeezing my hand. "I'm so grateful he found you." Each kind word was a knife in my chest. Ryan started pushing for more. "Leave him," he'd whisper after we were together. "We could travel the world, just like we always talked about." "I can't just leave Ryan." "Why not, if you're this unhappy? Staying is cruel to both of you." He was right, but I was a coward. I wanted both Daniel's security and Ryan's passion. I wanted my cake and to eat it too. Everything fell apart on a Tuesday evening in November. Daniel came home early and found me on the phone with Ryan. I'd gotten careless, too comfortable in my deception. "Who's that?" he asked casually, setting down his briefcase. "Just Jennifer." I lied, my heart pounding. "I'll call you back." I hung up quickly, but something in Daniel's eyes had changed. "You've been on the phone a lot lately," he said quietly. "Just friend stuff. You know how Jen gets." He nodded slowly, but he didn't smile. That night, while I showered, Daniel did something he'd never done before. He checked my phone. I came out wrapped in a towel to find him sitting on our bed, my phone in his hands, his face completely blank. "Daniel, how long?" His voice was eerily calm. My world stopped spinning. "What? How long have you been cheating on me with Ryan?" I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. It's not. Don't. He held up my phone, showing me my own messages. I've read everything, Maya, every text, every lie, every time you told me you were working late or having dinner with Jennifer. Daniel, please, how long? 3 months, I whispered. He laughed bitterly. 3 months, you've been lying to my face for 3 months. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, sorry. He stood up, his hands shaking. You've been having an affair, lying to me every single day, and you're sorry. It was a mistake. I love you, don't you dare. His voice cracked. Don't you dare say you love me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. He grabbed a duffel bag from the closet and started packing. What are you doing? Panic flooded through me. I'm leaving, and you need to move out by the end of the week. Daniel, please, can we just talk about this? Talk? He turned to face me, and I'd never seen him look so devastated. What is there to talk about, Maya? You made your choice. You chose him. I didn't choose anyone. I made a mistake. You made 100 mistakes. Every time you saw him, every time you texted him, every time you lied to me. He zipped up the bag. I gave you everything, my love, my trust, my future, and you threw it away for a guy who broke your heart 4 times before. I hope he's worth it. Where are you going? Marcus's place. My lawyer will contact you about the divorce. The word divorce hit me like a physical blow. He walked to the door, then stopped. I really did love you, Maya. I hope you figure out what you want before you ruin the rest of your life. Then he was gone. The apartment felt impossibly empty. I sank to the floor and called Ryan, sobbing. Daniel knows. He left me. Ryan's response wasn't what I expected. Maybe that's for the best. Now we can really be together. But his voice sounded less excited than I'd imagined. The fantasy was becoming reality, and suddenly it felt terrifying. My phone rang. Sophie, how could you? Her voice was shaking with fury. Daniel just called me. How could you do this to him? Sophie, I didn't mean to. Yes, you did. Every time you met Ryan, every time you lied, you meant to. You chose this. She was crying now. I looked up to you, Maya. I thought you had everything figured out, but you're just a cheater. She hung up. That was the first time my sister had ever hung up on me. I moved in with Ryan a week later. Daniel had asked me to leave the apartment. Sophie wasn't speaking to me. My father had sent a cold text. Your mother and I are disappointed beyond words. I had nowhere else to go. Ryan's apartment was smaller, messier, and smelled like old takeout and stale beer. But I told myself this was what I wanted. Adventure, passion, freedom. The first week was exciting. We stayed up until 3 in the morning talking, made love constantly, planned trips to Europe. This is how it's supposed to feel, Ryan said one night, pulling me close. This is real. But by the second week, cracks started appearing. Ryan was moody in ways I'd forgotten. He'd disappear for hours without explanation, get irritated when I asked about his day. You're being clingy. He said one evening when I suggested we cook dinner together. I'm being clingy. I just thought it would be nice to spend time together. We live together now, Maya. We spend all our time together. You've been on your phone for 2 hours. Because I'm working. You weren't this needy when we were just meeting up. Because we were sneaking around. This is real life now. He sighed. Yeah, well, real life is kind of boring. Those words stung more than I wanted to admit. One evening, folding laundry, I found women's clothes that weren't mine. A crop top, a lace bralette. Who's Vanessa? I asked, holding them up. Ryan barely looked up from his laptop. A friend. A friend who leaves her clothes here. It's not a big deal. It is to me. Are you seeing someone else? Don't start, Maya. He closed his laptop and stood up. I'm not your husband. We're not married. I don't owe you explanations. The words hit me like a slap. I'd destroyed my marriage for this, for a man who couldn't even commit to monogamy. I called Jennifer, desperate to hear a friendly voice. I made a mistake. I sobbed into the phone. Ryan isn't who I thought he was. Her voice was cold. No, Maya. Ryan is exactly who he's always been. You're the one who pretended he was different. Can we meet, please? I really need you. I'm sorry, but I can't watch you self. destruct anymore. Daniel was my friend too, and you broke his heart. I can't support this." She hung up. Another person gone. I was losing everyone. Through mutual friends, I heard Daniel was doing okay, staying with Marcus, focusing on work, seeing a therapist. He'd blocked me on everything. Part of me wanted him to fight for me, to beg me to come back. But Daniel had too much self-respect for that. 3 months after leaving Daniel, my life had completely fallen apart. Ryan and I fought constantly. He was definitely seeing Vanessa, though he barely bothered hiding it anymore. "You left your husband for me," he said during our final argument. "That's not my problem. I never promised you anything. You told me we'd travel together. You said leaving Daniel was for the best. I said what you wanted to hear, Maya. That's what you do." 2 days later, I lost my job. "Your performance has declined dramatically. My boss said, not meeting my eyes, we're letting you go." I'd been late constantly, distracted during meetings, emotional in front of clients. I couldn't blame them. Sophie finally agreed to meet me after weeks of begging. We sat on a park bench in uncomfortable silence. "You look terrible," she finally said. "I feel terrible. I've ruined everything." "Yes, you have." She wasn't angry anymore, just sad. "And I don't know how to help you fix this. I want to apologize to Daniel. Do you think he'd talk to me?" "He's moved on, Maya. Marcus says he's seeing someone new, a woman from his office who treats him well. He's happy." That news shattered something inside me. Daniel had moved on, while I was stuck in the rubble of my own choices. My father called for the first time in months. "Your mother is sick over this. You've embarrassed our entire family." "I know, Dad. I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix what you've broken, Maya. You're 28 years old, acting like a teenager. You need to figure out your life. Ryan finally told me to move out. This isn't working. You're too intense, too needy. I need space." I wanted to scream that I'd left everything for him. But what was the point? He didn't care. I moved into a tiny studio apartment, barely able to afford the deposit. My savings were draining fast. No job, no support system, no idea how to rebuild. 6 months after leaving Daniel, I hit rock bottom. I was broke, alone, deeply depressed. Jennifer had cut me off completely. Sophie talked to me occasionally, but kept her distance. My parents sent money for rent, but refused to see me. I'd lost my friends, my family's respect, my self-worth. One night, scrolling through social media, I saw it. Daniel's engagement announcement. He was marrying someone named Sarah, a beautiful brunette with kind eyes. They looked genuinely happy in the photo, laughing together. Her hand showed a delicate diamond ring. The caption read, "To new beginnings and real love." I cried for hours, not because I thought I could get him back, but because I finally understood what I'd destroyed. Daniel had been my real love, patient, kind, devoted, and I'd thrown it away for Ryan, exciting but empty, passionate but destructive. I'd chosen the illusion and lost the real thing. I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Patricia Wang was in her 40s, with sharp eyes that saw through every excuse. "You need to take responsibility for your choices, Maya," she said during our first session. "Stop blaming Ryan or your circumstances. You made conscious decisions that hurt people who loved you." "I know," I said, tears streaming down my face. "How do I live with that?" "You live with it by learning from it, by becoming someone who doesn't make the same mistakes, by understanding that actions have consequences, and some consequences are permanent." I wrote letters to everyone I'd hurt. Daniel, Sophie, my parents, Jennifer. I didn't expect forgiveness. I just needed them to know I finally understood the damage I'd caused. Daniel never responded. Sophie sent a short note. "I hope you find peace, Maya, but I need time." My father called. "We still love you, but trust is earned back slowly." It was something, not much, but something. A year after my life imploded, I was still picking up the pieces. I found a new job at a smaller marketing firm. Less money, but I was grateful. I attended therapy every week, working through my impulsiveness, my addiction to drama, my fear of stability. You created chaos because peace felt uncomfortable. Dr. Wang explained, you need to learn that you're worthy of stable, healthy love. Sophie and I had coffee once a month now. The conversations were careful, distant, but it was progress. My parents invited me to Sunday dinner occasionally, though the warmth was gone. I'd broken something precious in our family dynamic. I saw Daniel once, by accident, at a coffee shop. He was with Sarah. Her pregnant belly was visible under her sweater. Our eyes met briefly. He gave me a polite nod, nothing more, then turned back to his wife. I didn't approach them. What could I possibly say? Through mutual connections, I heard his mother Linda was still furious with me. Marcus still refused to say my name. I'd hurt not just Daniel, but everyone who loved him. Ryan texted occasionally late at night when he was lonely. I blocked his number. That chapter was closed. I started dating again carefully, but every time a man showed interest, I felt unworthy. I cheated on my husband. Felt like a scarlet letter I'd wear forever. Jennifer finally agreed to meet me after I'd sent letters for months. I'm not saying we're friends again, she said over coffee, but I respect that you're trying to change. I am. Every day, I'm trying to be better. Good, because the Maya I knew before wasn't someone I could respect anymore. Her honesty hurt, but I needed it. I needed people who would hold me accountable. 2 years after destroying my marriage, I stood in my small apartment looking at my reflection. 30 years old, single, carrying scars I'd inflicted on myself. I'd seen on social media that Daniel and Sarah had a baby boy. Ethan, he looked happy in the photos, genuinely, peacefully happy. The kind of happiness I'd once had and thrown away. People sometimes asked if I regretted leaving my husband. The answer was always the same, every single day. But regret couldn't turn back time, couldn't unmake my choices or unbreak the hearts I'd shattered. Sophie was planning her wedding. She'd invited me, but made it clear I wouldn't be her maid of honor. I love you, Maya, she said when she told me, but some consequences are permanent. You broke trust not just with Daniel, but with all of us who watched you destroy something beautiful. I understood. My parents were polite but distant. I'd gone from being their pride to their disappointment. Jennifer and I texted occasionally, but the closeness we once shared was gone. I'd learned the hardest lesson life could teach. Some mistakes can't be fixed. Dr. Wang helped me accept this reality. You can't change the past, Maya. You can only control who you become moving forward. Will I ever forgive myself? I asked. I don't know, but you need to try. Punishing yourself forever doesn't help anyone. I started volunteering at a women's shelter, hoping that maybe helping others could give my pain some purpose. I shared my story in group sessions, warning younger women about the cost of impulsive choices. I had everything. I'd tell them, my voice shaking. A man who loved me, a stable life, a bright future, and I destroyed it all chasing a fantasy. Don't make my mistake. Don't confuse excitement with love or stability with boredom. Real love isn't about butterflies, it's about someone choosing you every day even when you're not exciting. Some nights I still dreamed about Daniel. In my dreams I made different choices. I deleted Ryan's text. I appreciated my husband's quiet devotion. I chose peace over chaos, but I always woke up alone, facing the reality I'd created. This was my life now, living with consequences, carrying regret, hoping that someday the weight would feel lighter. I'd gone back to my ex after getting married, and I'd ruined my home. That was the truth I'd carry forever. The end.